And I got re-motivated, and now I found like I was motivated before to kind of prove him that I was a great daughter and that he should love me and be there. But now I do everything for me, and I will no longer ever do anything to get approval from other people.
All money, all money. Yeah. It's amazing to be alive when want you to die. Mad at every check you deposit. I see it all in their eyes. I'ma stunt harder, I'ma shop more. Black bellboy, Persian rugs at the door. Giving jobs, living like the mob. A scotch and a soda, Anastasia.com. People talking about me, say I got a body. Or are they mad at me that the house got a lobby? Big 4/5 spliff at the boat slip. Tiptoeing through the city, Alvin Ailey with a...
How's it going here, Kay? How you doing?
Great.
How you been? How's competition going on?
You know, a lot of lifting, a lot of heavy lifting right now. Even we're trying to bulk right now.
So how many weeks we out? How many weeks we talking about?
We are 16 weeks out, I
Okay.
believe. Not exactly sure. October 2nd into my first competition.
Got you.
That's right.
I seen you a couple weeks ago, about a month maybe. You were at a competition with a buddy. How was that for you, like emotionally, like taking it all in? Because you never did a competition, correct?
Yeah, never.
Okay.
Never. So, completely new into the bodybuilding industry. And I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't even know he was that good. I didn't know he was that good. So I was like, okay, he'll probably do good. And then he went on stage and he absolutely killed it. And he ended up qualifying for Olympia, which is 25 top competitors in the world go to that. So that was dope to see. And I was like, damn, I want to do that one day. So it was super motivating. I got to see my division in the bodybuilding as well. So it just was super motivating for me. I got even more excited because working out and lifting is a passion of mine, and I get to try to be the best version of myself in that, doing bodybuilding.
So we're saying that, are you really somebody that, I preach on mind and I pride on mind about being like internally motivated? Are you somebody that it don't got to take a lot to get going, or you led by others to get you going in the gym? Not only in the gym, but when you're training your clients, are you really somebody that's internally got it built inside you?
Yes, I'm definitely internally motivated. I'm super competitive, not even just with other people, with myself. I always try to be better than I was the day before. So as long as I get better in some type of aspect, I know I get knocked down sometimes, but like just even if it's like a mental strength thing, that's my goal for each day. Yeah.
So, you know, before we get into how Transcend Body and Mind came to be, you know, we got to rewind the clock. And I was doing my research, did my see your about page and everything. And what caught my eye was a metaphor you said, how you went from, you know, being a biracial young girl in North Dakota. And I'm going to let you tell your story a little bit, but it caught my eye. It was a dope metaphor because I like your personality that you embrace both of your parts. You know, that's something big that we have to be aware of in our community, especially here in the Twin Cities, our city. We're going to get to that, but how fragile everything is right now with a lot of racial injustice, a lot of things going on. But you said what's funny that caught my eye, that you went from wearing Timberlands one day to cowgirl boots and then listening to Kenny Chesney to listen to Usher. And so I want you to talk about a little bit about your upbringing coming from North Dakota and making that transition to Minnesota and how that was
Sure. So actually, I didn't mention this in my bio, but I'm Native American as well. I grew up on a reservation, so it was a bunch of white people and Native Americans, cowboy boots. My cousins are like national bull riders. They like throw ropes around cattle and rope them up. Like that's what they do. I don't understand that, but I applaud to them.
For sure.
So I was never around black people growing up. Never. Where I got my culture from on the black side was watching BET, literally, and watching Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was my favorite player. I was like, damn, where are those at? Like, he was my motivation. That's where I got my competitiveness, all that. But I didn't meet black people until I was a sophomore year in high school, and my sister was in college by then. So I would go to college parties, and there was black athletes. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I felt like it was like, I met my people. I met my, and I was so like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like, it felt like I was starting to find myself. And then when I got to college, I started dating a black athlete, and I got to hang around like all his friends, and they were from all parts, like Florida, he's from Michigan, California, all that. And I was just like, I just listened to all their stories, and I was like, wow, like some came from like the rough parts, some came from good family, and like I just learned so much like from that experience of like, okay, a lot of them, most of them didn't have an easy life, and a much different life than I had in a very closed off state of North Dakota. We are so conservative. So that was my first like way of finding my black culture. And then I finally graduated from college, and I was like, I need to get out. And I was like, the first good step was Minneapolis. So
that was the closest. That was the closest, to be honest. Yeah. That's crazy you say that, because I have a crazy contrast. Like, I come from North Minneapolis, so it's nothing but black folks. We shoot maybe 1-2% of the whole state in one area. You know, you got Southside, but growing up, it was just Hmong and black in the Northside community. Then I go get shipped out to Edina. You know, my parents put me out there. My older brother had went, and I followed his path. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing because I met my best friends. I met and made good relationships, but it was a contrast, like you're saying. I don't know white culture prior to, 2008, 2009. You know, I don't know nothing about seeing kids drive to school in Beamers, seeing kids drive to school in Benzes, Range Rovers, and it's like it opens my eyes to what more of life it is, rather than seeing people come from poverty and people coming from hard time, shootout, gang violence, and all of that. So it's a beautiful thing to see the contrast.
One thing that I really appreciate about my upbringing is I came from a single white mom. She had 3 kids. And we lived in an apartment, a small apartment. Me and my sister shared a room all throughout high school. And it was really humbling because I went to the more rich high school in my city. So all my best friends, they had movie theaters in their house, like 5-car stall garages, all that. So like I would be embarrassed that sometimes, like, if they wanted to come over, because I would always dress nice, so everyone thought I was wealthy, but I was like, no.
You gotta fake it till you make
it. And then finally, one day I was like, all right, I'll let them come over. And they're like, oh, this is cool. This is kind of like a hotel. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it's like. But it was weird, because it's like, I was sitting at the table, but I didn't have the food in front of me. But I could see what everyone else was doing. So every time I went over to my friend's house, I would pay attention to their parents. And I'm like, how did they get this way? How did they get this nice house? I would notice, like, I would ask them what they do, and I was like, middle school, high school, and they're like, why is she asking all these questions? But I was like, I want to live this life. I want my kids to live this life. I don't want to see them struggle like my mom is struggling to support us. Like, I was scared to ask for $20 to go on the athletic bus to go get food when we traveled to play someone, because we always had to stop and get food. And I was like, oh, Mom, can I have $20 to buy food? So that was like my struggle. And she was never like really there at games because she was constantly working. So I was blessed to have amazing friends, and their moms understood my situation and they stepped in for me. So I have like some of my best friends, they'll always be my best friends because of like the way they supported me and understood. They would pick me up from school. Their parents would be my parent for parents' night at athletic games and stuff like that. So it was I don't know. I was very blessed. Like, I liked my circumstance. I wouldn't change it for the world because I got to see, like, both aspects. I got to struggle, but I also got to see what it's like to be successful as well.
And see, you know, I like that because I'm a deep person, so I like to give the deep thought of why we go through things we go through. So you never know at a young age, you know, I went to adolescent, you know, middle school age, high school, you don't really know why you're going through certain things. I had a second family like that in China. To this day, I love them deeply. And they showed me things that I never knew that possibly be. Or to the, you know, coming from the black community, you know, we don't believe a lot because we don't know a lot. You know, but people don't tell us, we ain't going to find out on our own if we're not being told it. So it was a lot of things that it's about finance and budgeting and how to carry yourself. My character changed when I went out to Dinah. It wasn't me being, you know, that's one thing I don't like. It's, you know, the term coon or the term this or that, or you're acting different. It was never that. I never had to deal with that. But I knew the balance of how to present myself as a man, as a black man. And I still had a hood edge to me, but that didn't necessarily come out, you know, in certain circumstances. So I know what you mean by that, man. But your mom's definitely a warrior, especially to be raising 3 kids by herself.
Yeah, sure.
So fast forward now, I know you was definitely an athlete first, and I know you played. What sports did you play?
Volleyball and basketball.
Okay. So did you ever see yourself being? Did you have hoop dreams?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I actually thought loving basketball was how my life was going to be. I actually signed to play basketball at South Dakota State, but I was only on a semi-scholarship.
Okay.
And then the University of North Dakota offered me a full academic scholarship, so my family told me to take the money instead of playing, going to college for free. You can't really beat that. So I sadly had to end my sport career before it really started. That's another thing why I got into bodybuilding, because I miss competing. I'm such a competitor. So it's good to release all that into something, a particular sport.
Do you feel like you have like sports trauma? I tell people always say PTSD, I say post-traumatic stress disorder too, because a lot of us, we have it and we don't know how to deal with it. I mean, were you that involved in it at that time?
Oh yes, for sure. I was. I actually got asked to coach volleyball. I do now.
Okay.
But I didn't want to be around the sport because I thought I would be like kind of what's the word? Not mad, but like envious that they were playing and I'm not still. So I had to like look at myself internally and how to get over that. But yeah, definitely, I thought that was where I was going to go in life, was something with sports, and it took a couple years to get over that.
For sure.
Yeah.
That was like that with me. I mean, I just graduated 2 years ago, and now it's just like I invested 7 years of my life. Shoot, before that, I loved football since I was 10, and so ever since I know put a pair of cleats on and put a helmet on, like that's all I'm gonna do. About to be Deion Sanders, Randy Moss, all of them. And you put a lot of work into it. I do a lot of mental work too, like the film, the recovery. So when you talk about lifting and everything, I definitely encourage my athletes too that I train to be like, you know, making sure you're doing those outside things, because you really don't spend that much time in the gym that you think, you know, compared to the rest and the nutrition and stuff like that. So it's like I valued all those things from a young age, and then you invest in money and time. It's like, damn, I could be doing something better than this, and I ain't even get any reward that I wanted. So I definitely am getting feeling from that. So that's why I kind of wanted to ask that. Talk a little bit about that. We'll spin into the business aspect of the process of getting your LLC. Congratulations to that too as well.
Thank you.
And you know, I mean, you're doing things at 24. A lot of girls in general, and a lot of black girls can't say. I'm going to pull up a statistic for you real quick that I just got. In the black population, black women make up only 1.41 of black businesses in the U.S. 1.41. Black women only have that many businesses out of 328 million people in the U.S. So, like, you doing what you're doing at 24, how does that really, like, is it a day-to-day process? Is it like, do you get moments where you're like, okay, I got to get up off my high horse, I got to relax, stay humble, and is there days where the pressure is just like, you know, because for me, doing what I'm doing, it's kind of ease too, because we're going to get into that too, but See, you got a more, we both got some following on Instagram, but you definitely got more of a popularity around the city. People know you more for what you do. And so what comes with that is pressure, you know? How do you really control all those emotional factors?
So, I'm gonna keep it real. People know me from the city because of, I used to be out a lot. I used to party. I mean, I just graduated like 2 years ago. I had to completely transform my image. I always worked out. I was always working out when I partied back then. So, yeah, but people didn't know me like as fitness. And then when they saw me start my business, they're like, whoa, what? And I was kind of offended. I was like, I've been doing this. You didn't know this? So I feel like I am just getting started, so I feel like I'm confident in myself, and I know that I'm going to do great things. But I feel like I'm always humble because there's always progress to be made. One of my biggest inspirations is Barack Obama, and
salute to the first president.
Yeah, yeah, and the way he carries himself, man, that's what I aspire to be every single day. And I truly believe that you are no better than anyone sitting next to you. I don't care where you came from, what you achieved in life. It's human and human. Like, so I always stick to that. With the struggles, I used to, when something bad happened, I used to take it hard. Like, I thought it was the end of the world. But I learned, usually it's a roller coaster. Every time there's a really bad low, there's usually a really big high around the corner. So I actually look forward to when bad things happen, because I know something good is going to happen. As long as I keep on being true and keep on being good and keep on trying to help others around me, something good is going to happen.
When you started off the business, it wasn't Transcend, what was it?
It was Burfit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the name? Where did the name change?
So Burfit, it just fit under the fitness. And right away I was like, no, I want to be mental health as well. So I needed something to represent both. And it took me a minute to find a name. And I was reading books, I would read it in the dictionary. And then finally, a book I was reading, The Untethered Soul, Transcend, kept on coming up. And I was like, I like this. I looked up the definition, and it was to raise above a boundary, something. This isn't the complete definition, but to go beyond a certain boundary. And that's exactly what I represent and what I try to show other people. We try to limit ourselves. We try to put a ceiling on what we're capable of. And I try to show people how they can actually do so much more than what they think they can do. And it's, so I just thought that was a perfect name, Transcend. And I had to add the body and mind so people understood it was both, like the body and the mind work together. It's just as important, the mind and the body.
I wanted to get to this one because this one, this is some deep. This is now we're gonna get to some deep stuff. So this is a touchy one, but I know we talked about this, and me when we first contacted each other, I shared the story with you, and when I seen this, you know, I was like, you know, relatable trauma isn't always like something to talk about, but you know, we were open to talk about this, especially where I'm at now, my grievance with it, but your dad passing away. Send my condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
You want to share a little bit about either, you know, what your dad was to you? Or?
So, my dad, I've only met him about 2-3 times in my life. He would always like text or send cards on my birthday. I never really completely knew him, but in my mind, I had this thought deep down. I really had a soul search to come to this conclusion. I always thought that I had time to be successful, and then we would create this great bond. And then I was actually in Miami for my 24th birthday this year in January, and he passed away the day after my birthday. And I was still in Miami. At first, it hit me kind of like I was in shock, and I decided to get lit the rest of the weekend just to get my mind off of it. It didn't really hit me fully until I got home, and I completely broke down. And I would say I had like a 3-day grievance of him to myself. I isolated for 3 days. And I really had to ask myself questions. I really had to ask myself the reason why. Why am I sad? Why did I want to have a relationship with him? All of that. And
deep breath. Take a deep breath. I already know.
I obviously wish that event never happened, but it truly taught me a lot of things about other relationships in my life. And I feel like a flip switched. I don't party anymore. Also, I disconnect with anyone that doesn't respect me or value me for who I am because of that. It was like, life is too short. You can't keep around negative or people that don't value you. So that was like, I completely cleansed my social group of people that I like to think I weeded out the ones that didn't truly value me. And I got re-motivated. And now I found like I was motivated before to kind of prove him that I was a great daughter and that he should love me and be there. But now I do everything for me, and I will no longer ever do anything to get approval from other people.
Got my boy Chef Flo in the house. He's gonna bring something by for something good, man. What you got for us today, Flo?
Tacos.
So he said, you said you like seafood. So you like tacos.
My two favorite things.
Got some seafood tacos for y'all.
So Flo, man, introduce yourself, man. Who is Chef Flo, man? Where you from?
I'm from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. My family's from Liberia, West Africa.
Okay. So,
I've been in Minnesota all my life. Yeah, just been out here in Minneapolis trying to make stuff happen.
All right, man. So what's the what's the style? What's the style, man?
I switch it up, man. Like I said, I was from West Africa. My mom cooked a lot. She always, cooked for parties, African food. So I grew up on a bunch of African food. Our greens, rice, different meats. So I didn't really eat too much tacos and all that growing up. So when I was exposed to it, I was like, yeah, I gotta keep eating these, the pastas, mac and cheese. So I just started experimenting. I was go ahead. And Cajun cream dipper sauce for you. Put your tacos in
dip
there.
it? Oh,
yeah.
I just wanted to try real quick without it.
I understand.
Yeah, I like to switch it up. Literally like to switch it up. I can do anything. I could private dine for some people if they need it. So really anything you need, right? This
is a shrimp. No, this is a shrimp.
Oh yeah, that's a shrimp. That's a shrimp. Yeah.
So what we got in here?
Shrimp tacos, salmon tacos, kept the seafood. Got some cheese sauce in it. Some shredded cheese in it too. It's a little cheesy, but it's a taco, not too crazy. The Cajun cream dipper sauce, man. I seen that. I follow a couple of chefs on the social media, and I just kept seeing, some outside the box and regular tacos,
So I'm gonna really catch your blood, man. Are you really the best in the city or what?
I think I am. That's because of my versatility. Because I said, man, I can do can do whatever you need me to do.
I mean, confidence is total.
So it is.
Confidence is key, right, though?
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely think, I'm up there.
Okay, for sure.
I need like 5 of these.
So every Tuesday, man, come through. I got you.
So everybody's gonna ask, man. This is a new way, and I'm glad we got Tiana right here.
Right.
Do you do anything vegan related?
I don't typically like to sell because I have like a business side. I sell my food. It's outside my crib right now until I get a spot or a food truck. But I don't typically have vegan options. People have asked me. It's just that I just feel like, the quantity of clientele that
you ain't gonna tell me, hey, for my life.
You feel me?
I'm gonna eat good.
But, I have before, though, because like I said, from my African community, we eat a lot of greens, but we put a lot of meat in our greens. But I've had numerous people request without greens, and I've done it a couple of times,
For sure, man.
You do add some rice, definitely make some vegan options.
So where you see yourself, like in 5 years, where you trying to take this business?
Man, definitely got a whole plan, man. So get a food truck out here, go crazy. That's already actually in the works. So hopefully.
Whenever I get married,
cater, tell me.
Yes.
I promise you, I got you. But yeah, that's what I want to do, man. I want to do that and transition from the food truck to a restaurant spot, probably like a bar. I have both running, man. And can do that and just chill. Just chill, run that. I love cooking. I love cooking. But I want to get out the kitchen by the time I'm, early 40s. Just be behind the scenes. So I'm gonna see where it give or take. But yeah, definitely 5 years. I definitely see myself with a food truck and a little restaurant out here. Really going crazy.
For sure, man. So did you have any other passions outside of this? Because like we've been talking about, everybody don't start. What they're doing now with your gift is you really don't. What's crazy about God and what's crazy about your gift, you never really start with it. What you're supposed to be doing ain't really the first thing you're doing. You feel me? It's something that you a friend or it's the way, What was your first thing?
So it's funny, I heard y'all talking about the post-traumatic sports, so that's all I did, man. Growing up, I just played sports. Like I played football, but I played basketball for fun. But football was my real sport. So it just, that's all I paid attention. I always cooked though. I did always cook, in high school I would cook for friends and stuff like that. And they liked it, it was always in the back of my head, but like y'all was talking, when you're sports orientated, all you're thinking is, I gotta get to the league in sports. It's just that. So that was my passion, man, until it was over with, done with. And switched into the cooking. It was a great transition.
Yeah, for sure, man. So man, she
crazy. We got plenty more.
Hey, man, I eat for the good. Like, if I eat right now, I'm going to get my hands dirty. So I'm going to let you do it. Yeah, they just take it for me, man. But I appreciate it, man. Everybody gonna see Chef Flo more often, man. In this season, we're going to cook it up. Got some stuff for us, man. For sure, man. I want to see the wings. I'll be seeing some stuff on the ground for sure.
You got some wings?
Yeah, that's my
I'm so glad I'm not a cute wing eater.
Ain't no cute way to eat. Ain't no thing.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all.
For sure, man. Any shameless plugs you want to go into right now? Show plug.
Man, just follow me on Instagram, Flow Motion.
Okay.
With the underscore.
Oh, I like that. Flow
Motion, yes. I'm get right, man. Appreciate you.
Man, tell them about it. Man, just did what you just did at AC. You did.
Oh yeah.
How many pounds of steak you did, man?
I definitely. I just got hired to do it was a 3-day birthday party in Arizona. So it was my first out of state gig, and it was definitely nice. It was a mansion. It was one of the homies' birthdays, and the first night I did steak, mashed potatoes, did some roasted chicken, some macaroni, spaghetti. Second day, did some ribs, greens, some fried rice. Like the whole 9 yards for 2 days, 3 days. So
you said you West African, right?
Yeah, Liberia.
Liberia.
Yeah.
So Liberian. It's a battle. It's a battle. Nigerian, Liberian.
Don't listen to them.
Liberian, the real one.
They're the real one.
Alright,
we're certified. But nah, yeah, that was real fun, man. That was my first out-of-town gig, and I actually just got booked for another one in Florida in November. So about to go out there for a birthday, but yeah, man, it's just so fun.
So them boys got no flow, not cheap, man. This ain't no Head out, you ain't doing nothing for the homeboys.
Nah, I can't do that. But I mean, you know, I just want people to, you know, eat good, experience it. You know, so you know, I don't go too crazy on the taxing, but you know, it's coming.
No,
it's coming. Price going up.
Price going up. That's the level of it, for sure, man.
For sure.
But, I got one last question for you. So two-sided question. So, you know, we were talking a lot about mental health, and you know, I always am intrigued to know because I feel like I say this thing that we all either battle with it of our own, or we know somebody that is battling mental health. And so, what is mental health to you? Do you have anything, you know, related or in the family or anything? And then, what would you tell yourself when you were younger to now, the man you are now, to see yourself growing up, changing and making big boss moves for yourself? What would you say?
But I would say, as far as mental health is definitely very important. But you know, it's in the Black community, in the African community, especially when we're younger, we don't talk about it as much. You know, so we kind of ignore it. And you know, I definitely have my stretch of time where I was definitely in a little, you know, depressed episode, especially when I left college. You was taught that sports is your first love, you know, and when you stop playing, it's like your first heartbreak, you know. So I was just trying to find my way, and I'm glad I did. I got out. I got a daughter. She damn near saved my life just because I had something to look forward to, you know. So that blessed me. And, but yeah, definitely got family, you know, that deals with it, and everybody deals with it different, you know. I have a sister. I try to, you know, communicate with her as much as I can. She does great. You know, she struggles with it more than I do, so more than I can understand, you know. So, like she was saying, all you can do is listen sometimes, you know, because they just want to get it out. They just want to talk, you know. So it's just, you know, not taking everything for granted. Family's super important. Relationships are super important. And just live your life, you know. Live your life and do what makes you happy. So, if I could, that's probably what I'll tell my younger self as well, you know, just do what makes you happy. Because I've literally been doing that for the past year or two. And like when I left college, I had a sales job. Like I was making really good money, but like I said, I just wasn't happy. So the fact that I have the freedom, I kind of, you know, have the freedom to do what I want and make my own money, set your own schedule. It's just a blessing, you know. So just you know, don't take anything for granted. Just be appreciative for real.
Man, y'all check out Chef Flo. You're certified chef #1, so
yes, sir.
You will always see my boy on my show.
Yes.
Definitely day one for sure.